Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to APAC North. It's so good to have you here with us again. You can see it's all waving in the back. We're making waves with an S at the end. And our match has been swapped, as you've seen. Dwg Kia faces off against Guts Gaming as we await Fnatic v Talon. That match has been basically swapped with our match of the day. We want to give the players time to fix up all their issues and then come back in here. I think it's very fair, so fingers crossed that everything is ready for then. Welcome back to the Analyst Desk. We're going to focus on our match of the day. I'm Milosh, with me are Jess and Fresh, and let's talk about Guts Gaming. Fresh, you've talked about the Guts train. It seems like today they're up for a rodeo against Dwg Kia.
This is a huge test for them, and I think Des said it in the last broadcast about how they've not played the better teams yet. So this is, I would say, probably their first huge test. If they're going to be, they started the day in first place, joint first place. If they're going to end up at the end of the stage there thinking about majors and things like that, they need to be beating teams like Dwg Kia.
If Dwg Kia wins today, they get an extra 3 points, which puts them exactly tied with the team. But due to head-to-head, they would technically be above them, which is a really bad place to be when you are thinking about the upcoming playoffs. That is not where you want to be. You want negative head-to-heads with the people below you, because it doesn't matter at that point. If you have, obvious bad head-to-heads with people above you, all of a sudden you're knocked out of the top 4, top 5, and things do not go well for you. So that's probably what I was looking at when I was going for my predictions, is that if Dwg Kia is going to get back on the horse and start riding strong, it's this game for them to do it, because Guts, not that I think they're going to underestimate their opponent, but we've seen teams, Mantis included back when they were Cloud9, misinterpret their opponents they're going up against because they're used to winning, and then they don't put in the effort that they should.
That's something to fear. Now, Dwg Kia, yes, they've had that success at the Mexico Major, Jess, but you're going to have to learn very quickly that you can't rest on your laurels for too long, because teams like Guts can be nipping at your heels.
Yeah, and it's really unlucky for them that they had to push overtime with Talon as well. They obviously only got the 2 points rather than the 3. This is where they could have avoided that head-to-head with second place that they're going up against now. So it's the difference of minor points here that will kick Dwg Kia in the back, I think, when they're looking at the end of playoffs, when they're looking at things like finals, for example. So I'm looking at the games that obviously that overtime win against Talon. Unlucky, but they got the points nevertheless. Looking forward to the 7-1 smashing that they got dealt by Mantis FPS. That's okay, because Mantis is the top dog team for this stage, so you can kind of put that on the shelf and go, we expected top dog team to do it. Moving on to the next Playday, I mean, that was just a thrashing from them towards Fnatic, so that's why I've gone Dwg Kia. I obviously think you've gone opposite to
I've
me.
gone for Guts, yeah.
You've gone for Guts, and I think the reason for that was I just felt like always try and pick the team in form is what you taught me the very last Playday, and I wanted to try and follow that kind of, mantra and going, okay, who's in form right now?
Guts.
Well, after the last game, who was more in form in my eyes?
How would you get more in form than a 7-0 win, which is what Guts got against one of the best teams in the league?
They did not get tested.
7-0 they won.
Fnatic tested their opponents.
Okay.
CAG gave them a freebie.
Okay.
So I think they're riding on a high of, we are so grand, we are so good, but they weren't tested at all. Whereas Dwg Kia was, and they still came out on top dominantly.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I will accept that, because Fnatic, did put up somewhat of a fight, is your argument, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's take a look at our team cards. Let's go with Guts first in this case. We're looking at, recent performance, very recent, of course, last Playday smashing Cyclops, and here they are with what they've shown. Map-wise, that Cafe game was pretty impressive for Cafe, or for Guts here, Fresh.
It was, and it was, it was very surprising to a lot of people. I think, the talent pool had basically gone for Cyclops in that last game.
Yep.
And I went for Guts based on the map, because they are a very good Cafe team. So obviously when we go through the map bans, I'll be looking to see. I imagine that will be banned away in this one. And yeah, 100% win rate. You can't get much better. Obviously the overtime scare against Fav Playday 1, where realistically they should have won, but Fav just kept losing those rounds in such creative fashion in man advantage. But for Guts, 8 points out of 9, and we talked about momentum. That is momentum.
I'm wondering if they'll have the Fav Curse. I referenced this obviously in previous pre-deaths, but the Fav Curse is known as what Fav did last stage, where they had just an outstanding first half to the stage. Unfortunately, what they didn't understand was actually just how the schedule was for them that stage, was they were versing the quote-unquote easier teams in the first matchups. Once they got to the second half of the stage, it was a very rude awakening, knowing full well they were going up against some fierce opponents. They lost a lot of points. They dropped out of top dog position very quickly, and that just snowballed into a bad losing streak for them. I'm not saying Guts that's going to happen to Guts, because I think Guts is truly a top 4 team. I do, but I do think that they haven't been tested, and it is a very bad precedence to set going up against a team in your last competitive play day where they didn't test you almost at all and you got free reign to just run around as you pleased.
I do, yeah. Like I've said, I'm on the Guts train. A couple of people have followed me, and I'm hoping that by the end of this fixture, everyone will follow me, because this is the test. If they win today,
Absolutely. You've got me. I'm on the train.
This is the
I'm
team.
pulling the
They
little
are
thing that
doing
goes
well.
choo-choo. What's the little cord thing? You know, I'm pulling that. I'm right there next to you. I'll put on a captain hat. We're going.
Little conductor hat on.
Yes.
A little conductor
would be-
cosplay for the next APAC Playday.
All right. You know what to do, Ubisoft. Get me the uniform.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we all love people in uniform. Dwg Kia, though, is on the other side. Let's put up their team card and see what they have to offer. Oregon and Chalet, less two played. Yeah, smashed by Mantis. It happens to everybody. At least they lost to the #1 team, so they don't really have to worry about their head-to-head in the future.
No, and I mean, look at what they did in, of course, their previous stage. I mean, a couple of losses there, one of them being the top dogs of that stage being Cyclops there. This is something that Dwg Kia does or is known to do, especially since the reformation of their roster and solidifying who they want to play and how they want their roster to look around Rin, for example. I don't think this blip in the radar is truly indicative of what the team will be once we get to the very end of this graph, this table, I mean, and Playday 7. I don't think it'll look this way.
I agree. I think match 1, match 2, they suffered somewhat of a hangover from Mexico Major. They went on such a ride. Obviously, they went through to playoffs and they were humbled in the end in playoffs. But that whole experience, it does take it out of you, especially if they didn't really get a big break. It's understandable they had a couple of poor performances. That, you know, the first play day, it was against Talon, play day 1. They got through it. They maybe should have lost it, but they got through and got an overtime win. Obviously, they lost play day 2, but they came back with a bang, play day 3 against Fnatic.
Yeah. And Fnatic is no easy team by any means, so I'm impressed by that.
And just a reminder for everybody, you might have tuned in expecting, you know, a kind of Fnatic matchup to have just been wrapping up right now versus their opponents at Talon, but that match has not been played yet. We've had, you know, the past 45 minutes trying to get information on it. I'll remind you once more if you missed it, because I see the questions everywhere in chat. That match is postponed. We basically swapped the match of the day of Dwg Kia versus Guts with the Fnatic versus Talon matchup. And so hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be done with this game and then head into the Fnatic Talon game. So there you go. Cross your fingers with us, and thank you very much for weathering the storm with us here in the studio as we kind of roll with things in APAC North. But we always want to talk about the players and the top-rated players of these two teams. So let's take a look at our highest EPP head-to-head. EPP is our expected player performance rating based on 100, which is the average. And looks like these two players of Yas and Lily go above it. But Jess, so many people say Dwg Kia may be over-relying on Yas and some other players on the team.
I mean, how many times have you given MVP to Yas after a game? How many times have we spoken about him in pre-shows, about him just being dominant force, top-rated in the entire league? This just seems to be a storyline that Yas likes to roll with, and it's very difficult to keep that top dog spot. It's a lot easier to get there, but maintaining it is the difficult part here, and I think for Yas, having the full contention of Mentalist has been his toughest opponent here. But guess who is right behind him, 1 point away from taking his second place in the highest rated top 3 podium it's Lily. And surprisingly, I don't remember ever really bringing Lily up in the spotlight.
Never. That's the surprising bit.
You know, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, but that's not to say, if you go have a look at the stats of all the other players, they're actually really close behind. The next rated player of Euro is right behind Lily, chasing his tail. And I think what a lot of his stats in his EPP comes down to his cost. I know Yas has the same, but his cost means that he is having an exponentially higher impact every single round. And we even have the whole team stats here to prove what I'm saying.
And this is why, you know, when you ask me why I'm so firmly in the Guts train and why I think they'll do so well, is that for Dwg Kia, for example, you're looking at you're looking at Rin.
Yep.
If they have a bad day, Dwg Kia can have a bad day.
Yep.
But for Guts, across the board, positive EPP. And it just it looks like such a solid, coherent unit this stage. I'm not saying that Dwg Kia can't be that, but Yas has basically hard carried them this stage. He's been absolutely sensational. You're looking at Rin there as well, which is, for how well Rin played, especially in Mexico Major, that's somewhat disappointing, being on kind of 98 EPP, being below average. They've got 3 below average players, and I'm saying below average. It's a very small sample size with it only being 3 play days, but they've still got more to come, and I think that's what we're kind of alluded to with Playday 1 and 2 being so underwhelming from them.
That's what we're trying to tell the story of here today, is you just be aware that what they've done so far, we don't think is indicative of what they should be showing and what they will potentially show into the future Playdays. However, we can't deny that what they've showed us thus far, having the majority of your team under an average rating, means that your team overwhelmingly is not doing enough. We don't like the star player, or at least I don't like the star player story. I don't like the reliance on star players. I think it's a ridiculous sort of imposition into a team, especially in a role-based, tactical, objective FPS that we are in. Maybe in another game, it's okay to have a star player to carry. In this one, no. And one person I'm going to sort of reference here from the side of Dwg Kia is an unfortunately Coated, because for all of last year, you would come in and you would go, wow, Coated is goated, and this and that, and we would have his name in our mouths all the time. And the only reason I have his name in my mouth now is because he dies early, is because he doesn't have the impact in his role. So that's probably the worst part, is that players who couldn't stand up are standing up, and players who did stand up are now lacking. So it's a bit of a topsy-turvy.
All right, our map for this series. Let's bring it up. Again, 7 map pool, 6 are out, 1 is left, and it's Guts that'll take us to Oregon for this one. Villa banned out by Guts, and they'll be starting on the attacking side for Oregon, as Dwg Kia have chosen defense start. Fresh, how does this fare with your map predictions?
I was actually wrong. I think I said Club or Villa.
You did.
Which is, so essentially, you know what Dwg Kia are going to ban. They're going to ban Coast, they're going to ban Cafe, they're going to ban Bank. So you take your pick of the other 4, and I did a very simple kind of calculation of what are the highest preference, and it was Club, Villa, then Oregon, in that order. So to see Oregon is kind of, I don't know, Guts have maybe got something good on at this stage, so we'll have
when
to
you
see.
say they've got something good, like what?
What I will say is Dwg Kia lost Oregon quite convincingly to Mantis, right?
Sure.
So maybe they saw something in that as well, in terms of a kind of counter strategy as to why they chose to go to Oregon over Club or Villa.
That is the only thing I can think it is.
Yeah.
Because against CAG in those APAC leagues, they lost like 4-7 or something to that effect. Last time they versed Dwg Kia last stage, they lost in overtime on this exact map. This is not a preferential map for Guts in any way, shape or form. And it's, I think, above 80% since June for Dwg Kia.
It's got to be a counter, because you get your choice of your map. You can choose exactly which map you want to play when you're against Dwg Kia, because they will give you the 4 to choose from.
All right.
So
better be the best counter I've ever seen then.
That's, again, that map pool that we're going to talk about in the future as we keep moving on with the stage in preparation for the November Major. Fresh Jess, thank you very much. Thank you for everybody kind of weathering the storm with us here. Just another reminder before we get into game. Fnatic versus Talon has not been played yet. It will be played after this game. We just had the swap between them so we can get you a game on your screen ASAP. So thank you very much for going with us through all of this. Dwg Kia versus Guts is about to begin. We'll go to Oregon, a classic here. We've got Hap and M to take us through it. Enjoy.
It's all just been a list so we could do the match of the day.
That's the play. That's the ploy. We've stolen this.
We've stolen it
Like
away
a
from
heist.
Desert Chew and Ace.
Worth mentioning, the last Playday's Player of the Day, it was a 7-0.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't really the game of the day, but hey, here we are now, and maybe this one will be a little bit more spicy.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, hopefully, a spicy one. Guts is a team that sometimes, they have struggled to really get into that top 4, and now they find themselves in the 2nd place. So let's see if they can continue that here against Dwg Kia, a team that did very well at the major, managed to steal, a couple of the hearts away from viewers at home. They're currently at 4th place as well. A little bit at a riskier spot though, just 2 points ahead of FAF. So they're looking to, settle themselves a little bit higher on the scoreboard as well.
The hearts, the minds, the energy of the people. Dwg Kia lent in. I'm curious if that 50-50 on the poll was accurate. I don't know if that was a runoff of us having to move around the Playday and we didn't really get a proper read, or if it truly is a 50-50
I will
prediction
check.
here.
You know what? I'm going to check. I'm going to see whether or not it was a 50-50 prediction.
Because,
Going to see the sample size.
don't get me wrong, Guts are playing very, very well right now, but Dwg Kia have a lot of fan favoritism about them, so if it is truly a 50-50, then Guts has sort of started to win people around. DK, they've not had the strongest setup so far compared to what we've seen them play at. They've not been as dominant, and Guts have really stepped in. Yeah.
It's final results as well.
Final
So
results.
everybody had the opportunity to vote.
50-50.
And I mean, we said it as well. This is probably the hardest game to call at this
yeah.
very moment for us as well. So I truly have no clue who will be taking the win here today. As, one team has been on the rise, Guts, and Dwg Kia still, a little bit... How do I say this?
How do you put it gently?
It's not the performance we've seen during stage 2.
Yeah.
It was a bit more differentiating between highs and lows.
That's it. They're not quite hitting expectations, not quite hitting the pace that you want them to hit. You're sort of sitting there, go on, come on, show us a little bit more, because they showed us so much on the offline stages. They showed us so much growth in such a short space of time, and it was generally an upward trajectory. It was, let's ride this train all the way to the moon and see what we get. And unfortunately, it started to go a little bit off course for the first time. And I think that's probably why it's noticeable, is because it was steady, and then it was quite steady and steep upwards. But now it's gone back to steady, which it was once upon a time. It's not unknown for Dwg Kia to be in this sort of position and this sort of record, but still, we know that there's more for them to give.
There's definitely more for them to give, but, we're coming off of a Playday as well, where Dwg Kia managed to beat Fnatic with a 7-2, and, Guts managed to beat Cyclops with a 7-0. So both these teams off an incredible win, which, according to many, could have both been upsets, really. Of course, the Dwg Kia versus Fnatic one is a little bit closer on the predictions there, but really outperforming themselves. Let's see which one is in the better form for now. Of course, Guts have been able to win every single game so far on the stage. They're yet to be beaten. Same, of course, goes for Mantis, the only other team who has managed to achieve that for now.
There you go. Just a little bit of practice. A little bit of finding it on an entirely unmarked roof, but you get the angle you want. You keep it just far enough away from the wall, so potentially it won't get caught by anything that tries to go sharper on the wall or underneath it directly. A fight instantly over the balcony of the bedroom as they spray towards JJ, who's trying to take as much land as possible. There's already pressure on Armory stairs as well. Look at the pace between the Zofia and the Hibana. If there's something that gets punished or read by those bodies underneath, it could cause problems sooner rather than later. They've got to make sure they've got a bit of support structure, but Guts Gaming, well, they live up to their name recently. Play with all the guts that can be mustered of a team that wants to charge at their opponents.
Now, there will be a serial laser gate which just got destroyed by the Gemini Replicator, but also still 2 ADSs and a Banshee on the trophy door. Makes it quite hard to move through. You need to get rid of those ADSs first before you can blow up the Banshee, as JJ just takes the head of Coded off. That's definitely going to be a very good starter. Flashbangs then used to at least allow a grenade to be tossed in, or potentially an impact from the Zofia.
That's it. That grenade is going to open up a little bit of ground. Light is going to watch the rotations. As I said, it's the danger that someone can come in from underneath because Wookieman is in that rotation. Going to keep themselves locked in on the shower corridor to make sure nobody hops up the close window on the bottom of white and screams their way up the stairs. But with the gate being popped reopen and closed pretty much instantly. The pull of the bulletproof is going to give a bit of a game away. It means that JJ can't really spend too long on those swings, because if he tries to hold an angle or goes for anything more than a dance and a tiptoe of bullets, they're going to swing onto it, as we almost just saw there. He hesitated for a split second and it was almost punished.
Now, there is still someone on the big window here. Yura trying to hold off the angle. Knows that he needs to keep this rotation locked. He's not allowed to let anybody cross there. The white stairs need to be under lock and key, as they are trying on Guts Gaming's side to get rid of the electric claw to make sure they can open up the wall. However, we haven't really seen any vertical play for that yet. Has been pinged out multiple times, the electric claw. They just haven't been able to find the kill on it yet, and that means that the wall stays closed for now. And with 40 seconds left on the clock, they need to go aggressive.
Rin just saw the sliver of somebody pulling back, but again, it's more time that's wasted. The hit on the window and the bait of the drop down, concerned about the Maverick holes, but he's actually hopped out the window. He's going to find himself a new angle, and it's light now around the backside of Rin, who might not be aware. Yas suffers a grenade from the double window on the far side of the bedroom, as Yura is trying to put some pressure in from underneath. They're trying to find just a semblance of safety. You expect Lilia is going to be the next fight. Dropped by Woogieman, though, who's still holding the bottom of yellow stairs. There is Light, taken out. Did not know that Rim was behind them. Suddenly, everything has come up. Dwg Kia, the last spray on the door that opened it. And they just could not find a second player from Dwg Kia to take.
Couldn't find him, indeed, and that means that it will be a 1-0 here for DK. Very solid first round, and I believe they actually managed to get the first electric claw after it got pinged, but the second one was tossed on, and after that the bottom floor control was already lost, meaning and resulting, of course, into the wall to stay closed and DK to eventually win the round, as literally all they really had was the one doorway to go through. Now Laundry Supply coming up next. Wouldn't be surprised to see 6-pick to a clash. It's an operator, of course, we do see quite often and got, alternated with Decade before. So Woogieman is currently thinking about the 6-pick. Yeah, there you have it. The clash to come in. And they will be trying to play actively, potentially around the back stairs or the freezer, depending on where the main push comes from, to, of course, in the end, loop back towards the laundry if it is going to be a freezer and laundry push.
Okay, Guts, you had a very quick start, but instantly stalled. And that's the big problem, that the clash might cause a bit more of a problem of, as stated. But I think it's one of the things as well where they were just trying to find a second body, and they didn't quite have the connection that they wanted to. It was a lot of time on trophy doors, sort of stalled there, trying to see if, okay, well, maybe one of them will swing us, maybe we'll get into position. Dwg Kia, rightfully so, didn't. They knew that they were a body down. They made sure that they still had Woogieman at the bottom of white, as I said before, but also the rotation of Rin, sure, almost got caught as they went towards putting the second Kaid claw down, but then taking up the mantle close to where the Maverick was opened, came in behind the Zofia. Light had no idea that they'd slipped past, and with not much time left, they didn't have the time to really check it and drone it as well, which, if they did, could have been a very easy pickup.
For sure could have been. Roaming for the top floor has been set up, though. We did see some hatches to be opened up right above the kitchen into Kid's bedroom. That allows for an extra opportunity to fall back as Yura in quickly in the master bedroom, pushing into the trophy. But actually decides to create a rotation into the games room. Yas will probably be aware of it, spotted the drone as well, so knows his position has been gained and informed by Guts Gaming. Needs to be careful to not be wallbanged now as he rotates deeper and further into the attic.
Yas is the fire that has led Dwg Kia through a lot of games recently, is on an absolute tear. Opening up with the 2 kills and just slipping away, he might be able to put a little bit more pressure here. Rin is the one that actually opens it up against the drop on Mariu. Light suffers as well as they try to find Coated, but there is another body that's on the freezer stairs as well. So Light can't swing his way in too aggressively. They're actually just holding the bottom of it now with a shotgun. Again, Dwg Kia know when they have an advantage, and they know not to press it as well. They're very cautious when it comes to playing against Guts right now, and that is giving Guts nothing to work with.
Now, there is a mute jammer still there, blocking any information to be gained from the security side. They might still think Coated is in there, but as you might have heard, he dropped down a hatch, shot 1 shell as well to try and block any of the sound cues that could be given away. Now, Woogieman spotted out a player in the back of the rear stage here, knows it's the Zofia, but has to be careful. There is, of course, these concussions on this operator, and that allows him to try and get the shot down onto the legs if the stagger animation comes in. Fall back from the freezer, however, It's going to be Kota to sit right behind the boxes, and surely soon it is going to be the Clash to start falling back as well. But for now, just holding on to Light, who seems to be trying to contest and trying to put up a challenge towards the back stairs, but is not quite able to find it yet.
Again, exceptionally cautious here from Dwg Kia. They're really not overstretching. They're doing everything they can to slow them down, but they're definitely keeping a bit of a safe edge. The first fight almost comes through. Yes.
Last bullet.
Went for a late peek there and a late swing, hoping that he'd be out and have pulled back, but suffers because of it. 40 seconds. The grenade pops around the corner, puts the pressure on a Clash, who survives. Half health, though, and that could become a little bit deadly as the drop comes in from E-Box. They're going for a bit of a split push, take Rin on Pillar, and then find the second pick up there, too. Woogieman can't quite get round on the shield on the swing there. It's just the last body in the core of the site. The smoke flashed over the top, caught by an ADS, but as the plant goes down, it's Lily that locks it off.
I'm not quite sure how this defense just fell apart here, because it seemed like everything was going their way, and then people just started falling. Drops through the hatches, a player inside the blue who didn't really have the biggest of impacts, of course, but it seemed under big control of Dwg Kia. Even had the man advantage to start off in the last final few seconds, but Guts Gaming managed to gun themselves through it and managed to take the win here, and as a result, DK will continue their rotation. They're not going back to the bottom floor yet once more, and Meeting Hall Kitchen is being brought out.
That's it. The hold started to fall apart. They had the pressure, dropped through the hatch, and Euro was to blame. They gave the hold a bad name as they took a very quick bout of control there. Across the Clash on the Freezer side, who was isolated, went for a bit of a swing, but at that point, the pressure's coming from every single which way. There's no really any way out.
So far, every single 6-pick has been to or from the Cade. And fun thing, actually, it has been played by 3 different players right now. Rin was, of course, the Cade on the first round, but, you know, went for the Clash at first. 6-picked it to a Cade. After that, I believe it was Woogieman who went from K to Clash, and now it's Yas who went from K to Aruni. So they're really trying to play with the operator there, trying to keep Guts Gaming guessing whether or not it will be a Clash or a Cade or any other operator on the board. Of course, the Goyo coming out now as well. Big change. An operator we haven't seen before in these last 2 rounds. Just put up some extra shields. They are a bit more volatile, as you might say. You know, they'll explode into a ball of fire if they get destroyed. So you want to make sure you're not playing right behind it if that is to happen to one of those shields.
Well, they've got themselves stretched around here with a bit more of a potential aggressive hold, I say, as Rin steps up and tries to replace the double door, hoping somebody goes for a bit of broad peek in the swing here, but nobody's on that side. Instead, they'd actually rotated their way off towards the garage. And as the satellite window gets popped open, still no find, no catch. But awareness, and that's the most important thing here for Guts. They're aware of the game that Dwg Kia is trying to step into with this hold. They're hoping, I guess, to punish them, being a bit cavalier, and it might come now. Just saw the sliver of the Goyo, well aware that they're there, the dance in the head, but they are fighting each other. Who will get the catch? It's Rin!
It's a dangerous fight when you put it up like that. Someone is going to be able to get the kill, and Yura will be able to get it here. Lily follows it up. That's the top floor completely gone. Yura already very far up into the green hallway, about to be breaking into the kitchen, but of course waiting for a drone to try and figure out whether or not it will be safe first, because that's the information that's currently missing. Players above on the hatch. Yura gets yet another kill. Coded inside the security, now has been spotted. They should be aware of this position and have an opportunity to potentially go for a stage plant, as a lot of damage is being dealt here to Coded. Just Rin, though, who seems to be unaccounted for now as the drop comes through. JJ about to put 45 seconds on the clock. Is Coded quick enough to try and get a nitro up? It doesn't seem to be the case. No, it will not be. And that brings us to a 4v2, with Rin being taken out first.
Coded is on a fraction of health and a drone, unfortunately, as he comes up around the back of the tower stairs. There wasn't really anywhere to go there, met by a grenade and 3 guns. Nothing was safe, there was no way out, and quickly dispatched of Guts Gaming. They were able to punish the hole. They were able to take some of the pressure back in and put it back towards Dwg Kia, who had what was a solid opening half. They're warming up, Guts, and that's the worry for Dwg Kia right now, because they need to now try and find a bit of pressure, but a way to apply it without resting on laurels.
Now Rin on the Clash will most likely go to Cade. I'm just putting out the bet here.
Okay.
Let's see if it's correct. Oh, the 6-pick. And it's the... Come on, Cade, there you have it. At this point, it starts to be predictable from our side. Of course, the enemy team, Guts Gaming, will not be able to see that there has been a 6-pick. They'll have to confirm the operator, see if there has been any change compared to the reveal phase that we've seen. It's also basically the mind game, because DK, their signature operator on the bottom floor, is that clash. You might bait Guts Gaming into thinking, hey, we are going downstairs by showing off that clash. Instead, there will be a Cade now, and that most likely will be used to keep the master bedroom walk-in closet wall closed. We saw that before as well. One placed a little bit further out, got taken care of from below due to a spot of a drone, but then the second one got placed and they really didn't have any time left to clear anymore. So if Guts Gaming will adapt to that, they'll keep a player around the classroom area. So even if they put up a second electric claw, they might be able to take it out in time.
Well, let's see if we get the juggling of the claw. Is that good? Is that good? Is that good? It's good! All right, 2 attempts. This time, next will be 1, and then Rin will be unstoppable. But to be fair, pretty unstoppable previously. Drop the drone on the top of the armory stairs. Not going to take the fight for too long, I say, as they actually decide to. Sticking in Hotza for a swing round. What a drone, what a call, what a read, almost. What a kill to open it up, but it's actually the fight back. Rin is getting hyper-aggressive here. They pull all the way back. If they'd have taken the Kaid that early, that could have been a heck of a change.
Drone.
Great drone placement, great drone parkour. Excited to see that across the board, but now with at least the body pushed back in, this is the aggression that we kind of, I guess, I wanted to see Dwg Kia adapt. They were trying it. It was almost successful. JJ suffered, but isn't out just yet.
ADS being spotted out there though, but they haven't been able to find the electric claw yet. A grenade will be forced to do that too. The dude just got wasted.
Yeah,
they're throwing in a third one even. Now he's not even going to get it, so they haven't managed to pick up the electric claw with 3 of their grenades. The ADSs are still up. It might have been a better choice to actually try and angle it towards white, so you would have taken care of those ADSs, but instead, the electric claw will be there. Another pieces of utility are about to be tossed in here. Another grenade comes in from Lily. That one will get it, and both the ADS is there, so a new electric claw has to be used by Rin, but there's still no vertical control from below to try and stop this from happening. And thus all the X-Carals that just have been placed down are getting destroyed, whilst Rin also gets the kill to marry you.
Twice in a row, they've entirely just collapsed.
Everything gone. Look at it, not a single X-Carals left. All 18 used on that wall.
And it just took 1 claw. Like, it didn't even take them trying to play it against it.
They got it now. They use another grenade to clear it out. Like, that will be of any help. You don't have any of the hard destruction left. A bit of a mistake here. And Mugiman now waiting in a very good spot to potentially go for a bit of a flank if they decide to go up for the side of the white stairs. Jura, though, is about to make his position known. Boogeyman is well aware. He's just holding the trigger discipline there and giving the call to yes. He's just being a bit of a drone there, a live camera. And keeping his position hidden for now, waiting for the second member to come in, which will be Lily, who's also seeming to be coming in just shortly.
That's the play, though, because now Boogeyman, he's just waiting, patient, sees them, and then
he gets it.
Easy take, easy play, easy round for Dwg Kia, but its guts is failing because, you know, apart from a fantastic trigger control and discipline there, the use of the utility, there wasn't anything exceptional about it. It wasn't that the Kaid was entirely stressing them. The placement was in a tricky position, sure.
It was no worrisome tricking.
No,
you had
it wasn't.
To dance around the grenades.
Entirely. It was the Kaid was playing on the drop on attic on the door and just lobbing them, which, you know, from that sort of range, you can go by the first click of those X-Kairos, sure, but they heard the first click, they then threw it without guesstimating how much was on the other side, and then they just kept on firing the Hibana pellets. And it's just, you know, it's the only way to say it is it's a misplay. It's a poor performance in use of those, and you see it happen twice. Oh, it's great.
And it's weird to see how their first 2 rounds have been, look, not the first 2 rounds, but the 2 attacking rounds that Guts managed to win were so good. They managed to completely displace all the DK members without a single issue. And then, if they come around to the same side where they are being tricked by the exact same trick twice, they fail to adapt to it. And then they throw even more utility at it, even though there is no X-Kairos or any Heart Breach tool left to open up in that case. So, I wonder. I'm not quite sure. Maybe if we get into an interview, we can ask them if they were aware of what's happening. Maybe they just thought that the Cade was playing close. That's why they try to get the grenade in either way. twice in a row now. It is going to be DK. They managed to win it in this fashion, keeping them outside of the walk-in closet because it's literally useless for them. And now they have an equal scoreline. But they need more. They need a 3-3. They need a 4-2. That's what Dwg Kia is trying to aim for. And as that drone has gone unnoticed here, we have Boogeyman again in a position where he can practice that trigger discipline here and potentially pick up 1 or 2 kills if they start rushing up to the top floor.
If this happens twice, if Classroom doesn't get droned out...
It doesn't.
Which it hasn't been.
Because they had a drone in the corner. They did see no one pass through. Now one goes up the stairs. Boogeyman with that trigger discipline knows he's going to be calling it out. One is up in armory. And he's just waiting because he knows there might be a second one to come through. As they're all upstairs now. But will there be a flank drone? Is he allowed to just freely go up top? The X-Cars are getting popped and he's still staying hidden there. You gotta respect what he's currently doing. His position is there. They're opening up the hatch. But since the fact that it's no longer a direct plant spot, you can let them have it.
And if JJ obviously gets dropped, he's got the diffuser. He is in such a tricky situation because there's nobody to instantly pick that up on. It would take a huge rotation, it would take a huge play, and all it takes is that spray down. The diffuser's now cold. He can return his way to the site. They've got to recheck everything, and yet again, it's just sort of poor
He's an assassin.
Utility usage, though. But I think it's poor utility usage. They had a rough idea of Classroom, but it's such a, you know, boxed room on the side. They droned everything around it, but never once just swung around just to look on the 3 times we saw drones go past that room.
No, they have never checked out one, and that's potentially due to the fact that it had a pre-placed drone. It just wasn't able to see right behind the cabinet there, and the second time in a row, Boogeyman is able to assassinate one of the members of Guts Gaming without them being able to find an answer. There's now grenades being tossed in, but picked up by the discs. That's Boogeyman to drop down. Yura gets that kill inside of the laundry site now. Another grenade will be tossed in to try and find a player on the close angle. That's Yas to Koom. Will take a little bit of damage, but stays alive for now.
Suffered because of it, but as you said, pulled back, and they have the soft wall to try and put some pressure back onto tower. Rin on the roam, just saw the side of a body and finds the diffuser down cold for the second time. Swung the knife, suffered and scraped through, finally dropped. And they'll be able to collect that kill, but you're looking at 30 seconds. They've still got to put the pressure onto the site itself. The confirmation comes now. And there's Yas getting the pick up, the swing and the drop down. Can't quite get the connection. There's one more body. Light is entirely surrounded. The diffuser is still cold. Can't quite get the collection. Lily at least puts it into a 2 versus 2. They have the call on where the 2 remaining bodies were. With Lily in control of the site, they're actually going to see if they can try and stick the plant on the opposite side. Okay. They have to at this point. Katsang is going to give a little bit of an audio away. Lily now is caught between both of them, finds the first on Yas, and they're in a post-plant situation. The work of Iana driving their way back to the site is everything for this round going into Guts' Gaming right now, but it might come back through. Katsang almost sprays, drops the shot on the shotgun, pulls back all the way to the backside of Laundry, knows what is in the pockets and is going to give them a bit of a guessing game. Reloads, pulls back, goes up high, and with 20 seconds, knows that they can play this with the stuns, which is what they're going to do. The first pops off, puts them in a bit of a tricky situation here. They know they've got to bait out at least one more. The second pops off.
Now there's 11 seconds left, needs to go, cannot go off anymore. That needs to be a challenge. The gunfight is on, but there's no time left, and it's a miracle that even though Boogeyman is able to, well, sow this much chaos, together with the rest of the team, with Rin and Yas, who then go aggressive and find kills as well, that Guts Gaming is still able to take the win here on this round. That shouldn't have happened. It's Boogeyman that, due to poor droning, 3 drones went past him, is able to pick up a kill again. That's the heart breacher gone, that's the diffuser dropped. There's going to be a very tough time for Guts Gaming to try and pull up for it. Then Rin is able to pick up yet once more. Second time the diffuser goes down. And then Yas, of course, able to put up the fight as well. And somehow still, Guts Gaming, after being in such chaos, really, being surrounded by Dwg Kia players everywhere on the map, managed to get away with it with a bit of a win there.
That's the situation right now we're finding, is that there's mistakes, sure, I think from both sides, but also Guts Gaming, their bravery leads them into these situations where obviously we saw Lily there, able to sort of creep their way through the site, and as I said, they're the reason that that round came together. It was almost a 2 versus 1 that suffered massively, because it was 3 versus 2, won the 1 versus 1 on the other side, put some pressure onto the smoke, and the rotation allowed them to get through. Don't get me wrong, Light picking up the diffuser, going to where they planted it, and then playing around with the stops, that was very well played. You're curious?
Yeah, why is the Electroclaw only getting one of the 2 walls? Where is it placed that it will not get the second wall? That's what I'm wondering about. Because it's not on this top floor in attic. Because I would say with one Electroclaw, you can literally get 4 walls here. That is like one of those spots that there's not many about. And probably, I think it's behind the beam on the stage to stop it from any impact tricks to come through or grenades. But that does mean that the left side is probably not going to be gotten here. Still a second Electroclaw on. You could theoretically place that in green to get the left side wall and the one above inside of attic, but they're not even going to reinforce that either. So they're just leaving it be. They're leaving the left side soft and keeping the right one electrified. So it's an interesting choice. I'm not quite sure as of why. It has to be due to some placing where it's difficult to clear.
Now, this game, if summed up in a word so far, is scrappy. It's been sort of bit of fights, but with clever plays interlaid. And that's the thing, is both teams have shown these little sparks and these little moments, but threading it together on a consistency is something that neither has really been able to just get locked down for now. The droning across the top happens first. You've got to clear the vertical here, and instead of going from the trophy side, as they did previously, this time it looks like they're going to eye up on the double. I say, as Mariu's found his way in and hopped through the quick walk-in rotation, concerned about the holes underneath for the pressure that might come through, but it gives them the angle towards Rin, who's at the bottom of the stairs on split.
A bit of damage done to Katsang here. Grenade to bounce in will not be dealing too much damage here. Always has the hatch to drop down as well if he needs to. A second grenade to be tossed out will be found by a smoke canister. A little bit of damage dealt to either side, but it is going to be the drop of Katsang that moves him into security. Yura now knows no one inside security. Could have been a hatch drop. You need to hold that from being a walkout here. Katsang wants to get back in there. They need to find out that he's actually inside there. And there it comes. That's the kill. Guts Gaming at the opening yet once more.
They find themselves in control of Zulu, and they're going to use that pressure to push upwards towards Woogieman. He's not quite blinded, but he's buried in a corner. One slips past. He finds the drop coated with a C4, gets his back, offers some support. They've got to recollect the diffuser, but as the fight gets, again, scrappy, he's able to slip away. Mariu can't quite get the connection that he wants and knows that he can't quite lead his way through, but it's Lily from the top through the drop, gets one more. Light is looking to see if he can find a little bit less now as he just opens up some space. He wants a little bit of time. They have 40 seconds. They can do some of the groundwork that they need to do. They need a little bit less firefight just for a moment so they can set themselves up with some cover. Yes, retaking the mantle at the top of the freezer stairs is waiting for the push round on the backside of Zulu, hoping that the unfortunate frequency of Guts not quite re-droning is going to be something that he can put the pressure on with.
They're trying to go on for a plant right behind the kitchen on the hard wall, which is unable to be wall banked, so they need to use some utility. They cannot do that. The ping comes out, though. This seems to be well aware. However, Dwg Kia a bit afraid of actually going for it. Light gets picked up. The diffuser goes down. It's going to be a 2-on-1 situation. Make that a 1-on-1 situation. Mariu with the 3K! Wins out the round here and wins out the half. What a beautiful triple. Just manages to pick them up one by one after getting the diffuser down.
I mean, he's a player with a huge record, and he hadn't quite found a connection in this game, but turn of the half, last minute, triple down, my word. What a play there. Went through across all three, knew exactly where they were, based on the intel that had come through from the two of his teammates dying.
Yeah.
Knew he had to put the pressure on, and he did. Yeah. That's why a lot of us were excited when he came back around. 4-2. Guts Gaming, they've put themselves in a good position here, but now Dwg Kia are the team that can try and apply some of the pressure and the pace, and sometimes they can be very good at pulling apart. Utility. The first, the ping on the second, caught him reloading.
I knew the last one was inside the security. First of all, due to the kill, but second of all, due to the yellow ping to come in, and just perfectly played out by Mariu there. The right timing, got the plan down, went for the first gunfight, knew where the second was, and of course the third one as well. You can only applaud plays like that. He was not supposed to win that one, but he still managed to pull out. And that leaves and leads Guts Gaming by 2 rounds over Dwg Kia, who now need to try and fight back onto the attack themselves. It's going to be difficult. It's normally considered a bit of a defense-sided map, but even though they have been very disruptive towards Guts Gaming, Dwg Kia is, with their trick discipline, just hiding and able to pick up a member or two without even any notes to be given away. they weren't able to translate it into rounds. And now, well, Yura is quite close. He's looking to go for a bit of an aggressive peek. The drones are starting to come in, and the information is given out. At least the presence of Yura as the white window gets opened up. Yura takes the gunfight, but continues to rotate around the map to try and find a bit of a safe space. At least let Dwg Kia work with the drones, try and figure out whether he went downstairs or if he's still somewhere on the first or second floor.
I was going to say that was exactly how you're supposed to play that from the mantle of Yura. He didn't have anyone else to offer him some support there, and he knew that. And then as soon as he realized that he was probably caught on a drone, he wasn't 100% convinced, but he thought he might have been, he pulled himself away because he saw the pressure was going to come from the bottom of white. Here, though, Yas is just going to hold out, hope that someone goes for an aggressive swing, and hope that Guts play into this. He's alone. He can't take this fight off of his own mantle, regardless of the skill and the caliber. So a smoke canister is going to buy a little bit of time and damage. Just caught him as he was on the tip of his drone there. Has to pull back and get a little bit more of a read. But Dwg Kia, as I said, they can be great on their utility. They're thorough as they droned out everything. We saw the Cavalcade try and find the loose player. They pulled back, and it's all time that's being bought. But this is, again, scrappy.
Boogeyman struggling to open up this hatch here. He's being electrified quite a little bit, and a lot of the fuel seems to get wasted. Luckily, you do not need all 6 of these canisters to open up a hatch like this, but definitely seems to be a bit of a big struggle for him here. We'll eventually, though, try and find it. Just waiting to see it pop open, but he's on his last canister already. He still had this. Okay, there we go. Does eventually get it open. Has a little bit of fuel left to maybe create a small hole into a second hatch. I'm not quite sure if you can actually open it with this. Luckily, though, there is still some Excaros left. And what you just do now is open it up and get in a grenade to make sure that no Electroclaw or any player will be trying to contest it.
That's it, just enough, but with just under a minute left, they've got to see if they can now try and put the pressure onto the bodies inside the site itself. Meridy's holding the swing here behind the Goyo shield to see if they can put some pressure as all of that collection and coercion of utility happens to freeze up around Freezer. The aforementioned area is where we're starting to see Woogerman go for an approach. Doubled up now on Blue 2 as the barrels become the next line in. Yas finally has some cover, so he finally has some momentum to try and throw himself in here potentially. Coda drops, they're going to try and put the pressure on the fight first.
Shot.
Yura retaking up the stairs. That means that it's now dangerous above that E-box hatch. They can't quite lock it in, so the drop comes round on Freezer on the opposite side. They found themselves in. They put the pressure onto Pillar as well as they go for the swing of the shotgun. Just catches most of Yura, doesn't quite get the lock, and now Guts Gaming have the man advantage, and they have it even more. Caught in the middle of the site, no time left. 5-2.
Double kill from Lily there in the end, and, you know, used one of his smoke canisters very early on as soon as he realized that the drone was coming through as a technical timeout will be called. But then dealt quite a bit of damage, actually, and after that didn't really receive any pressure inside the barrels, forcing him to use any of the other smoke canisters, which really let it come down to the last 20 seconds and still 2 in pocket. So well played there. On the side of the smoke, of course, the nitro to come in at the end there as well, but it was a bit overkill. The diffuser was already dropped. There was a second left on the clock and 3 members in completely different positions, all behind different reinforcements. That round was won in that case. And Dwg Kia have 30 seconds left to try and figure out the key on how to beat Guts.
And that's it, because it's tricky, because Dwg Kia found themselves a little bit slow on their first attack. They were trying to be thorough and trying to catch it, but as soon as they realized they only had about 10 seconds left, they had to take the drop, especially when they lost that opening engagement from Yura on the tower stairs. They did everything to try to go for a setup under their control and mantle, and it just took one Guts Gaming player to put some pressure back on, and then suddenly, we've got to go. We've got to move right now. We have to try and actually make this execute. The wheels, I mean, they almost made it through, but they just fell off the cart a little bit too soon. They found themselves in the 3 versus 2, and things didn't go better from there. Guts Gaming, they just need to find one more to guarantee themselves OT and some points out of this. They're keeping themselves sharp, though. Let's see if they can be successful on a site that entirely evaded them on their attacks.
Now, if they do manage to take the win here today, that puts them in the first place, I believe tied with Mantis in terms of points. Let me just quickly look up on that, as I believe both of them will be on 11 points in that case. Yes, Mantis is on 11. If Guts manage to get 3, they'll also make it. However, round differential would be the difference in that case. Currently, both are on plus 13. Make that plus 16 at this very moment. And you might be wondering, well, when do Mantis and Guts meet each other? That will be Playday 6 on October the 6th.
Oh.
Game 2. So that is maybe where the winner of this stage gets
I wonder if that'll
decided.
be game of the day.
I wonder as well, because that game could theoretically send one of these two teams to the major, because currently both of them, as I said, are in number 1 and 2. Fnatic is 2 points further behind, still has to play a game here today. So there's a lot at stake here for Guts Gaming, as they might find themselves with a direct ticket to the major.
Imagine Mary back on a major stage. That would be so grand. That would be grand. That would be an event. Cancel your plans, everybody. But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Maybe just pencil in your plans. Don't cancel all your plans. Well, your plans should be for the major anyway, regardless of who makes it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Moral of the story. Hey, you watch the major whenever it happens. But outside of that, let's watch Dwg Kia. That's an aggressive way. That's an aggressive way to try to hold this. It means that Katzang can't go get the approach that they want. It is something that can be punished. Light as well, holding down on the double door. This is hyper-aggressive. This is Guts Gaming saying, come on, try and enter, I dare you. A third Guts body, and it's Yura, who's so close to potentially putting pressure onto Rin there. They're playing safe, but a little bit of a difference of timing there, and that could have been a disaster for Damwon.
Rin is just waiting for someone to descend the white stairs here, and Yura seems to be aware that maybe a flank... Ooh, heard one drop right above him now. Is going to try and go for that peek. Spots one, gets Sig, runs back inside into the classroom, receives a bit of a wallbang from Rin there, but it's not going to be the kill that connects. Just that little bit of damage, and Yura is able to rotate all the way up around, up towards the small tower. Has the opportunity to go through this door and go for another Rin out. Goes for it. Spots the player, goes for the kill, does not quite hit it. A little bit of damage done onto Woogieman, but he survives for now, and Guts Gaming, while with a man advantage, and Yas and Woogieman both a little bit tagged, and Yura still on the loose.
I mean, Yura is just working on his step counter right now. The C4 cracks open Woogieman as Rin tries to clear their way up the armory stairs. There's a canister that's going to push them further back, drops the camera, but holds just a little bit off. With them having the control of Armory now, but also being in a 5 versus 3 means that they're going to have to try and find a body. Sharpish hope that Guts Gaming go for an overpeak and a swing, which is the game that Rin's trying to play. See if they can find a loose player, crouch walk through, but in the meantime, Coded gets caught by Lily on the swing round. Yas, well, he's still on the other side of the utility we talked about before. I highlighted it as a very aggressive hold. And Guts Gaming have not just highlighted it, they've underlined it, they've cut it out, they've pasted it round in font size 72 all over the walls right now. Rin trying to find their way up. White can't quite get any of the purchase that they want. There's only 28 seconds. There's nowhere else for them to go. The 5 versus 1, 20 seconds. Dwg Kia took a timeout. Guts Gaming tried to make up for lost time.
And they're definitely trying to speedrun this one, just running out, putting up the pace here. And Yas, well, taking these 20 seconds to try and discuss whatever is possible with the rest of the team. At least the flawless is denied, is to pick up on Mary who comes through. But a member in the big tower there is JJ with the final kill. It's Guts to take the lead and take it in hand. They have the opportunity here to fight for 3, as they are upon 6 first. It's, well, 6-2 now. Yes, actually, just 2 rounds won by Dwg Kia. And those are the 2 rounds on this exact same side before on the defense, because Guts failed to use the utility properly, actually, to clear out the Electro Claws. And as a result, right now, we find ourselves, even with those struggles, in a very dominating game from Guts.
That's the tricky thing for Dwg Kia right now, is that they don't just need to find a round, they've got to find it more than likely, and it's not an impossibility.
But they need to find it on 3 different sites as well. So
well, that's it. They need to find it on sites that they've already lost. Now that, obviously, if they take this, Laundry opens up, and you assume Guts Gaming will go down there and not double down on one of the sort of ground floor sites, and then Dorms can potentially open up. They have entirely a trial by fire ahead of them, most notably by the fact that Guts Gaming are trying to light all of this map on fire.
Especially the PCs of DK, because they've been trying, but just the run outs, they have been so effective here. The just pure aggression onto the side after DK tried to go aggressive on their own defense, just really working out wonders here. And you know, we've been talking about actually this side a lot lately, because we've been saying that people have been swapping away from the dining to go towards meeting. We just saw it with DK as well, but Guts Gaming instead, they are choosing and opting to go up for the dining, and that brings us to one of these beautiful shower holds. They're it's a difficult position to play. You just have that solid core in the middle, which is relatively safe, but everything around that is going to be, well, basically putting a dent inside of you, as the first dent has been made. DK, take care of the shield, which was meant to put up some pressure towards the small tower. However, these angles and, well, little holes that have been created will just do the job just fine.
Light is curious about the possibility of the pressure that's coming through here, but they're not going to hand it over just yet. Going to see how much time they can waste. An ADS at least, with Lily offering a little bit of support at the bottom of the stairs, but it is an isolated position. Coated opens up the first, the second gets dropped there too. When aggressive, couldn't quite get the catch on Coated. Finally, Dwg Kia have some ground, have some purchase, and have something that they can try and do here. Guts throw the C4 with the long arm, but slipping their way past the showers, they're going to pull themselves back. Almost suffered through the many openings that they've had. That's the danger of the aggressive hold, is sometimes when you turn tail, it's not easy, but Mariu finds Yas from the long angle.
Katsang opening up some verticals here from the small tower. The shower hold has been, well, dented just slightly as a jab gets taken care of by Yura, and that means he might be going for a bit of a run out there. He even gets spotted at pre-fire. He just still goes for it. No single point of damage done, however, but the pressure is definitely there. They know someone is trying to go out and run out from the area, as drones will be spotting out the position of Lily. Mario close in the corner yet once more, is trying to fall back into a safe position where he has the opportunity to try and challenge DK, as they're about to be hitting the side because there's just a minute left. Kota takes a little bit of damage here. Yura is close around the corner still. Is there any utility they can use to deal with it? Yes, there's 2 grenades and a player from above who finally gets it. Katsang with that kill is going to be in a very crucial spot as Mariu again comes around the corner.
I mean, it was a strange play there from Yura. He peeked whilst he was still reloading. A huge opening here means that he can try and punish the first. Can't quite get the connection he wants. And as all the pressure screams down the side, it's the catch on the back. 2-2. They found some balance. Suddenly back. Man in the isolated showers is waiting for the approach on the first. Finds the fight. Drops the diffuser. 40 seconds. And with the camp still up and some utility in pocket, Katsang's going to take a moment and a breath, see if he can pick it back up. Whoever sees the first is going to be the one that might be able to pull this away. Katsang is playing for the hope of continuing the game. Lily is with the hope of locking it out. 20 seconds. And only a sliver of health, as Katsang knows that he has the mantle of pressure and Lily has the eyes on the diffuser. 10 seconds, he just has to pull back, concerned about the swing round from the opposite side, holding down and locking the angle. It's a pre-fire! It's Guts Gaming! And it's a full 3 points on Oregon for a team that is truly taking this league by aggressive storm.
I have to say, though, you had 2 grenades left, Katsang. Just throw in one and go for the other angle because you force him out in that case. But either way, it is going to be Guts Gaming to take the win here. They take that first place for now as well, and it might go all the way down to day number 6 it was, I believe I said, to figure out which of the teams will be going to the major. Is it going to be Guts? Is it going to be Mendes? Either of these, I think, will qualify at the end of it. But what a performance this was. They struggled a little bit on their attacks on the top floor, not really knowing how to clear out these electroclasts properly. But besides that, they've managed to deal with every single bit of aggression that Dwg Kia tried to bring to them, with even more aggression of themselves.
Now, we're going to take a very quick ad break, and then we'll be back with the desk to break it down.